Well, good afternoon. Gratefully acknowledging the presence and support of Senator Westmoreland, administrators, teachers, and staff. I welcome you to the Spring 2022 Classical Foundations Program Student Lecture. Ling Tang Williams was a law school assistant professor in Fudan University. She became an American entrepreneur and educator. She is currently co-chair of the New Hampshire Asian American Coalition, an elected supervisor in the town of Weir, New Hampshire. Born to illiterate working-class parents in China's western Sichuan province, just before Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution, Ling Tang Williams grew up experiencing extremely poor living conditions, food rationing, social chaos, and communist indoctrination. She came to America in 1988 to study at graduate school. Lily ran for Colorado State House in 2014 and U.S. Senate in 2016. Today, Lily has her own businesses and relishes the freedom, independence, and prosperity she found in America. She loves her new country and travels frequently throughout the states to share the story of her American dream and educate people about the horrors of communism, Marxism, and Maoism. Lily has contributed her opinion articles to National Review, Town Hall, The Union Leader, The Concord Monitor. She has also appeared on Fox News, John Stossel, and many other shows and podcasts. Lily is part of the Speakers Bureau of the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. She has been speaking to students in middle schools, high schools, and colleges in the past 4 years across the country. Ling Tang Williams appears at Pinnacle Classical Academy thanks to the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation, an educational, research, and human rights nonprofit organization devoted to commemorating the more than 100 million victims of communism around the world and devoted to pursuing the freedom of those still living under totalitarian regimes. The foundation was authorized in 1983 by a unanimous act of the United States Congress. Lily's lecture is part of our Classical Foundations program, whose mission is to provide students, faculty, and community leaders with a deeper understanding of local history, as well as the nation's founding principles and their application to modern life and society through historical and economic works that are part of the school's curriculum and through a series of academic events like these. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Ling Tang Williams.
Well, that was quite a nice introduction. That I wanted to do this 2 years ago, and last year, finally I'm here after 2 years working on this. See, when you have a will, things will happen. So thanks to school, especially, Mr. Jeff Ziegler brought me here. He's the one who requested me as a speaker, and of course, and all the other people to make that happening. And my sponsor, VOC, is great. If you want to know about horrors of communism, besides me, they have other speakers, other eyewitnesses. They even have a training session for the teachers every July. I got on Zoom call before to speak and to the teachers, because I think the teachers have to be well educated, aware of what's happening under those totalitarian regimes. So then they will teach you. And so that's, it's a very good organization. So I thank for their sponsorship. So when you look at this picture, that's what I look like. When I was 17, I told my husband, I walked to my college, a law school, with a mountain hiking stick from Sichuan, and the Sichuan hot pepper sauce. So when you say that, it's like, oh, that's a Sichuan hot pepper sauce with 2 braids, because Shanghai people, they like to eat the mild food. I was told, if you like spicy food, you better bring your own pepper sauce. That's what I did. I walked to campus like that. People saw me. You must be from Sichuan. I said, yes. How can you tell? Well, you got a Sichuan pepper sauce on the mountain hiking stick. So my husband loved the story. He encouraged me to make that my name brand. Walk into freedom. Walk to Statue of Liberty. So that's what actually one nephew is an artist. He drew this picture of me and walk into Statue of Liberty. So I have YouTube and Instagram. If you want to follow me, ask me more questions later. And so my life income is China. I encourage you, verify my story is true or not. That's why you have that big head on your shoulders. You're supposed to think, verify, don't take my words for it. I want you to be critical, independent thinkers. Not like the kids in China, totally brainwashed, indoctrinated in government schools. I want you to think. I want you to listen to other immigrant stories, or even listen to your communist professors in university to say, you think Mao is wonderful. How come this lady is different? So you have to decide, who do you trust? Somebody who lived under communism and suffered all the consequences, or a professor who has the freedom to be Marxist professor on college campuses and to tell you what he thinks about communism. I hope you will make that well-informed and very smart, intelligent decisions. So you have never been to China. If you look at this map, what do you know about China? The largest country in the world by population. And the second largest economy. And it's, according to the data, economic data for now. And all the people you see are the different minorities in China. Do you know that? People like me speak Mandarin is Han Chinese, which is 95% of the Han Chinese. You know why we name ourselves Han people? Because Han Dynasty was a very long, prosperous dynasty, lasted many years, and quite a good prosperity period. Lots of culture, lots of art, and so people were very proud that time. So they named the Chinese after that Han Dynasty. But then other minorities, Tibetans, which is a Buddhist group. I was raised as Buddhist and always wanted to go to Tibet. I never had a chance to go. Now as a foreigner to go to Tibet, you need a special permission. They don't want you to open up to all the foreign tourists. And northwest Xinjiang, Uyghur group, which is northwest, the yellow part. And that part, what we're talking about today, if you follow NBA star Kenneth Freedom, he changed his last name to Freedom, he constantly called out China's current cultural genocide in China. Slave labor, some say that, hey, Nike is using them. So that's the Uyghur group. It's basically like an Eastern Turkish and Kazakhstan, some Muslim groups. Then you have Koreans, and you have Thai in the south. And Sichuan is the province next to Tibet. Tibet, which is green under Xinjiang. Mountain Everest is there. And all the other minorities you see, and the Mongols too, famous Mongols in Inner Mongolia, which is below the country of Mongolia. And so this is China's human geography. It just, you see Taiwan, little island also is one of the so-called China province. That's what the Chinese government wants you to believe. So Taiwan people right now are facing weekly threats about, when I was growing up, then liberate Taiwan by force. And Taiwan government will say, we want to go back to China, liberate China. So it has been that way for a long time until 1979. The United States government threw Taiwan under the bus, under Carter. establish formal relationship, diplomatic relationship with China, communist China, because Mao decided to have alliance with West because he was fighting against Soviet Union. So that's why later China opened up, and some students were able to leave, come to here to study. So Taiwan has very few partners today in terms of diplomatic relationships, and it's like, one China, which is a big one, and the body one, and 1.4 billion Chinese. Do you know how many people in the United States? So we are the largest economy in the US. We have about 340 million people. China is 1.4. So they do have the largest population. What do you know about communism? And you're lucky, blessed to be born Americans. I had no choice. I was born under communism. I was a little girl on a horse. When we had to take family portraits, we had to line up in line, get the cash to go to government-run little portrait studio. I was born just 2 years before Mao started the great proletarian cultural revolution. We were part of the proletarians. My parents were illiterate working class. At the bottom of the food chain, we're supposed to be rulers per the Communist Manifesto that you can order from Amazon. But we were very poor. We had no control of anything. The government told us, because you parents are illiterate working class, not part of a party high officials class, we got a very little food rationing coupons, which is to give you a concept. Family of 5, so that's me, little girl. Later we had another brother. That little girl in the dress is my aunt. She never took pictures. She dressed up very nice, insists to be in our family photos. My dad and her very close. Okay, you can come to join us. So later we had another brother. So for family of 5, the government told us how much we should eat. It's food rationing because not enough food. 2.8 pounds of protein coupons. That protein coupon includes all the meat, all the eggs. It's called protein. A month for family of 5. So all I remember as a child, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. So my uncle taught me how to trap some rats in my grandma's courtyard. Because my grandma was babysitting me. Because you were hungry, you suck on the bones. But I think after a couple of rats, it ran out. Just like in Venezuela, people today, they run out of cats and dogs to eat. And we did not have a bird either, because the people shoot them, eat them, catch them. When you're hungry, you are that desperate. You have no human dignity. All you wanted is food and food. That's why they talk about, the world threat is climate change, and China is not cooperating sometimes. You know why? When you're starving, you don't have the luxury to talk about environment. You just wanted to survive. Put some weight in your body. I remember I was so hungry, I could not focus on anything else. That's why I have that habit today. When I'm hungry, I gotta eat. When I travel, I have snacks in my purse. I think Chinese all have that kind of habit. It's like when you're hungry, you gotta eat something, otherwise you get irritated. And so that's my mom, my dad. If you don't know about Sichuan people are like the wild west of Texas. We have a famous saying, Sichuan people are short, right? They're not very tall. I'm 5'1". My uncles are short too. But they are the first one to rebel and last one to submit. So Sichuan people have that liberty spirit in them. Well, don't blame me if you feel like I'm firecracker, right? But not the Chinese you see is you have stereotypes. They're quiet, they're moderate, and they look the same. No, but if you meet Sichuan people, I have quite a few Sichuan people in this country today are speaking up like me, and we all are kind of surprised. hey, you're from Sichuan, you're from Sichuan. It's like, oh, must have something in common. I think we just have this natural born to be free in spirit. So my dad is a very muscular guy. He became an orphan when he was 5 and got recruited to work for state factories. And then meet my mom through friend, got a permission because my dad was recruited to become this party member. To marry a non-party member, you got to get a party leader's permission. They did an investigation on my mom. Oh, she's a rich child, you can marry her. So I was first child to be born. And this is a food rationing coupon. This is from Heilongjiang province, which is Manchuria, China. Every province had their own food rationing coupon printed through local government. Then you got to go pick it up. Use your papers, national household registration. So here's how a communist regime tracked their citizens from birth to death. When your mom and dad got married, they need to form household registration. Go to local police station, register your household registration. And they give you a booklet. With this booklet, you go to school, you go to local doctors, government-run hospitals, clinics, and you get your food rationing coupons. Then add each child when they were born. And this registration determines where you live in China for the rest of your life, unless you change that later through other opportunities. Or you go to, from first-tier city, second-tier city, you go to remote areas. That's easy to change. But if you're in big cities with this household registration, you don't want to lose that. If you lose that, you cannot live in big cities as legal resident. So we did not have, China did not have labor market, did not have any kind of, like a free market for employees move around. So people even don't realize the freedom of movement. If you don't like California, move to Texas. Don't like New Hampshire, move to North Carolina. You don't need a permission, right? I hope that looks like today's country, maybe you have to show papers, everything you do, including eating in a restaurant in New York City, you gotta show vaccine passport to eat there. So after this food rationing coupon, I think it lasted until Mao died, when China economy got better and had plenty of food for everybody. Then I think this one went away. I got this. I could not even have any picture taken, so I got this from an American friend living in Texas, went to China in the 70s, and he kept a souvenir, a food rationing coupon, and sent to me a picture. Otherwise, I could not even show you what it would look like. If you don't know about Mao's Cultural Revolution, here's some features. It's from 1966 to 1976. So Mao started this revolution to purge his political enemies, regardless what he said. But when you study the history, his Great Leap Forward campaign from 1958 to 1961, called the Great Leap Forward. Central planning, economic policies, making peasants to grow food, Mao style, instead of really grow food to have harvest. About estimated 40 million Chinese died during this mass famine. I don't know if you heard about that. I was told in my entire life in China, lots of people starving to death because we had 3 years natural disasters. Flooding, drought, people starved to death. I also did not know how many until I come to this country. Had the freedom to know the truth, to read the articles and books, to get rid of the lies I was told. I cried. I said, I did not know so many people died. I was told it was 3 years natural disasters. Mao, because his failure of that campaign, he lost some power within the Communist Party, which is only one party, controlling party in China, dictatorship. So Then Mr. Liu Shaoqi became the president of China. Mao was marginalized. And I think he's kind of like sociopath. Of course, I did not know. And he started this cultural revolution to purge the enemies within the Communist Party. By using who? By using naive, idealistic, young people who worship him, who did not question anything, who trust authority, who trust him, called the Red Guards. So he used all the Red Guards in the country, shut down schools for 3 years, do political struggles every day. He used their name called destroy the four O's. Our country is facing big threat. We need to destroy the four O's to get rid of the people's enemies inside the party and outside the party. So destroy what four O's? Culture, ideas, habits, and customs. Whenever some people are calling to destroy your own country's culture, that's like 2,000, 1,000, or like America, 200 something years old, culture and the values, do not buy into that. Question that. Why do they want to destroy it? Why do they want to make you forget about them? And replace with what? Because once you know the history, then you can connect the dots yourself. Then Mao separate people use Karl Marx theory into oppressor versus oppressed groups. Sounds familiar today in America? Who are supposed to be oppressed? Who are supposed to be oppressors? Equity is a Marxist term. So they can change the words all the time, like Mao did, and change the words, change the meaning of words in order to say you something, for you to believe all my old cultures, my country's values are threats to our democracy. So you're going to participate to destroy them. With what? Replace with what? Marxism, communism, totalitarianism. That's what we're facing today. So look at those features. Quasi-religious indoctrination of youth. Red Guards. So you can tell me if later when you go to college, are they indoctrinating you in today's US colleges to be Marxist? Or we don't even call Marxist sometimes, to leftist, radical leftist. So now you will build up resistance, immunity. If you know the history, it's using young people to achieve political agenda. Riots, looting, violence, law enforcement stand down. Sounds familiar? Chinese call 打砸, 抢烧, smash, grab, looting, and destroy, and burn. Collect your dots. Change names, ban books, relics, burn relics, temples and churches, and top-down statues. Then the black class people, under oppressor group, landowners, intellectuals who are not PC, called bad influencers, and professors and teachers, journalists, rightists, counter-revolutionary, all the arbitrary names decided by who? By the leader, by the party, to be black classes. Once you're labeled black classes, your life is miserable. You'll be going to class like we call them struggle sessions. If you Google that, struggle sessions, Chinese style, during the Mao's Cultural Revolution, you will see some pictures. Then, when you go there, if you're black class, you'll be public shamed, you must self-criticize, and you must apologize, you must denounce yourself and your families. Maybe back a couple generations ago. And press, media, all controlled by CCP and used for propaganda daily. I remember we lived close to my high school. 6:30 every morning. It's like a concentration camp. A big speaker come on. 6:30. Da 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 da. Time to wake up. Time to go to school. Time to go work. Long live Chairman Mao. News, revolutionary songs. You cannot sleep in. You must get up on time. And when I went to college in 1981, in that college campus, same speakers, except that they don't say, long live Chairman Mao anymore, because Mao is dead. That destroyed their myth. Mao was God, but he died like a human. That's how I wake up. And then family, neighbors turn on each other. A 16-year-old rape guard could report to rape guards. You know what, my mom actually is black class. She said this, her family rich. You thought you were doing the right thing because you show your loyalty to the party, to Mao. Then you watch your mom tortured to death by rape guards. There's one story on Google, on YouTube. A guy who did that to his own mother. He never got married, never had family. He goes to talk to his mom every day, where she was tortured to death. Of course, he grew out of that. He realized what he did. He felt guilty all his life. Human tragedy, right? So the communists don't want you loyal to your families, to your neighbors, and to each other. They want you to be loyal to the party, to the regime, to the state, and the supreme leader. And the last one, use mob tactics of fear, intimidation, and violence. 20 million people died during the 10 years Cultural Revolution, 66 to 1976. No rule of law. Military was controlled by the party. So I was a little girl. By the time that Mao reopened school, after the peak of Cultural Revolution, that's me who, on the right side, without red scarf. As I said, I was not PC. I was too confident. At the age of 7, as a first grade, I was best student. I had some brain, right? I had a very good memories. So I scored everything on my test. And I was a red child. So I bragged to my girlfriend, I would be first one to join the Young Pioneer. Such a privilege and glory to wear that red scarf on my white shirt. Be Mao's Young Pioneer, which is a grassroots organization for elementary school students. She reported on me. I went to principal's office. They said they're going to hold me back until I prove to them I conform, I'm PC. Get rid of my individual facial, confident expressions. Be one of the masses. Basically, be a machine, be a robot, conform. I learned my lesson at the age of 7. I will keep everything to myself. I will never trust anybody. I keep that to myself until I was almost 24 to flee China, because I could not trust anybody. Who was going to report me? To the government or to the police. So that's why I was not happy, sitting there and no red scarf. I was wearing my checkered pants. People even asked me, Nelly, why are you wearing checkered pants? I said, well, what's wrong with that? That was the only good piece of pants I have without holes. We're so poor, we have coupons to buy fabrics to make new clothes. So once a year, Chinese New Year, New Year's Eve, you say, Happy New Year to you Chinese family seniors. They give you some red pocket money for good luck. And you can accumulate that money to buy school supplies. Maybe you buy one piece of new clothes. So I learned that lesson, and I move on, become Young Pioneer, about 1 year later, and I become a Red Guard. This is my Red Guard uniform. White shirt inside, a green solid shirt jacket outside. And the little flag found me. She is Hong Wei Bing, that means Red Guard. Have to put your hairs up. You cannot have your hairs just wild past your shoulder. We had approved hairstyles for both boys and girls. Here's the Karl Marx. So as a school student, you must go to some marches and trainings. Then you hold Karl Marx, Mao, Lenin, and the Mao's little books. I want to show you. I even bought one from Amazon. Amazon can ban other books, but they don't ban the Mao's little red books. What does that tell you about today's America? Communists are here. Communist books are here, but they're trying to censor other voices from American citizens. This is bilingual. So I remember we watch, we march, we hold the Chairman Mao's books. And in the morning when we go to school, we have to do this ritual. Long live Chairman Mao, long live the Communist Party. 100 years, 10,000 years, another 10,000 years. I never challenged that. How could I challenge? I was just a child. I bought into whatever they wanted me to believe. I thought he was God. I was so actually brainwashed. It's like sometimes when I walk outside and, it's like I see Mao smiling at me from the sky in the clouds. So, destroy other religions, but then the communism, Mao become like the religion. And then if we go march, we have to write diaries at night too. So the previous picture I show you, my little red car picture, by the way, is my student portrait. How do you track students in government-controlled schools? They take a picture of you every year, put it into a sacred student file that your parents and yourself will never see what's inside. But they keep track of you to say your speeches, your grades, your performance, your behaviors, any dark stuff, any mental health issues. They keep track of you. That file is reviewed by government agencies and future employers, and then they follow you and become a personnel file. Student file will become a personnel file when you get a job. But you're not allowed to see it because you don't belong to yourself. They just got rid of that just a couple of years ago, but the household registration and still applies. Even some places still require a personnel file. So they want to make sure that everything is trackable. Here are the girls' hairstyle. And I'm wearing a Chinese traditional jacket today. Chinese New Year, which is Tiger Year. I was banned to wear something like this. Clothes like this is part of the 4 old. So you cannot wear a pretty traditional Chinese jacket. It represents wealth. It represents capitalist lifestyle, not the proletarian lifestyle. So as a proletarian, you're supposed to look like that. Unattractive, plain, no makeup, no flower, bright colors, no self-individual expression. Approved hairstyle, like a boy short hair, ugly short hair, ponytails, pigtails. I think that we were only allowed to lay hair down past your shoulders after I went to college, which is, I think, it's like a second year in university, 1982. Valentine's Day is coming up after Chinese New Year. I always talk about we were not allowed to date. Dating was banned. You cannot even talk about, I love my family, I love my mom and dad. Here's a song for you to sing every day. My parents are dear, but Chairman Mao is more dear. That's the kind of oppressive environment. You will say, oh, it's human nature. No, Marxist communists want to destroy nuclear families. Here's a red sun. The only fun part of my childhood memory in school is they allow us to dress up like a minority, like I told you about. Chinese minority, this is a Yi minority in Sichuan. And that's the only time you get put on lipsticks by your teachers to perform in school. But what we're saying, look how I'm the one who, my knee is on the floor. Think about how naive, how innocent we looked. We're doing rape dances. I love Jemai Mao. Thank you, Communist Party, for saving China from poverty. Give us minority food to eat. Even though we're hungry, but we have to say thank you, grateful. Taiwanese people are suffering, starving. We need to be grateful for the party, for Mao. That's the only time we can smile really big because it's a correct smile. If you don't smile or laugh at the correct time, you'll be criticized. Why are you so happy? The world people are suffering. Or Mao died, why are you smiling? So smile requires politically correct timing. I hope that never comes to the United States. You talk about oppression. And so we're saying the red songs, red dance, burning statues. I told you, feature of Cultural Revolution. Top-down statues and burn them, and cultural relics too. Those are Buddha statues. And Catholic nuns. So before they burn the Catholic church, they put the slogans on the wall, and they get all the nuns come out. Do you recognize? Do you see that in America? The young people hold their face up like this to make a Catholic nuns to denounce the Bible, denounce their own religion. They had to do what they were told, or they will be sent to re-educational labor camps. So that's why I'm a staunch supporter of religious freedom. People today, especially some church leaders, are quiet, they're not political, they want to tone the line, they want to keep their head down. I always remind them, time to speak up is now. Time to fight back is now. If the communists take over America, it doesn't matter you are silenced or not. You'll be shut down. You'll be made to come out, denounce Bible and God and religion. That'll be too late. So it's time to, when you have to resist, speak up, you do. Otherwise, your result, your consequences are just like what happened in China. Red Guards going through struggle sessions to criticize their principal of Beijing University. Lots of intellectuals supported Mao and the Communist Party. Lots of teachers did too. They all got thrown under the bus by saying one thing is not correct, by offering improvement, policy ideas, and you're classified as black class, going to class struggle sessions and stay in your labor camps. And that's my uncle, Red Guard generation, my favorite uncle. I have 3 uncles. When Mao finished use up the Chinese youth, what did he do to them? Did he praise them? No. He's finished with them. Useful idiots were sent to countryside for 10 years to be re-educated by peasants, called Down to the Mountain campaign. My uncle, 17, never finished high school, wanted to go to rural China to be re-educated by peasants, get paid by the state, small salary, and doing manual work. Very naive. Oh yeah, I'm going to countryside. I have one neighbor girl came home crazy. She said she saw a ghost in the countryside. There's a movie you can watch, banned in China, called Xiu Xiu. My hometown Chengdu, little girl went to Tibet. Part of this Red Guard, down the mountain movement. What happened to her is just heartbroken. Watch that movie. It's a great education, and it's true. Because it's true, and China will not allow this movie to be shown. Xiu Xiu is a girl, it's a sand-down girl, the sand-down girl. My uncle went to countryside for 10 years, come home, almost 30, no wife, no job, no education. Very sad generation. Because if he took a local wife, like I told you about household registration, he'll be registered in Yunnan province, near Burma, can never come back to city for job and for good, better life. Think about, we were starving in the cities. We were living in very primitive living conditions, like 8 families share 1 bathroom, 8 families share 1 water faucet. The countryside is worse. Years later, I still have nightmare about that public bathroom, a big hole on the ground. You have to squat. You have to find the 2 bricks to squat in the dark light. When night bulb broke, nobody cared to replace it because it's community housing. And if you fall backwards, that was my nightmare. You get buried by a whole bunch of human waste behind you. Once a month, a peasant will come to dig up the waste to take to the countryside. So the hole is available again for you to go there, pee and poo. 1 bathroom for 8 families with children. When you got to go, you got to go. So everybody buys a little party, keep their apartment, then dump in there next day. I hate to go to the bathroom at night because we couldn't even afford a flashlight. Just do it at home and dump it next day. So my uncle is in his 60s today, very bitter about his past. But lots of his generation still haven't wake up and be free from the propagandas. They suffer so much, their whole life is ruined. They're still saying Kumbaya today. It's a human tragedy. It's such a deep sorrow for me. I cannot talk to them about politics. I know the truth, but they don't. They're just laughing about their past. Unbelievable. Because if I talk to them about politics, I can get them into trouble. They're in China. So when Mao died, I was 12. The tall girl in this picture, downtown Chengdu, Mao's portrait, Mao's statue is still there. This is a prime, expensive real estate now for commerce, for business. And this girl without the red scarf, she's black class. She's never allowed to join Young Pioneers. That's when I start to ask questions within myself. Mao died, so he was human. So what happened? Who lied to my generation? Who lied to the entire country? I could not even ask that question loudly because remember, I learned my lesson, keep everything private to myself. And, but I got a new hope. The new hope is that I need to go search for truth now. College is reopened. Now I can go to study law. Law degree is not JD, it's college degree for 4 years. I passed 3 whole days, nationalized college entrance exam every summer. They still hold that today. 3 days. Your brain is dead after 3 days. I had to study really hard to pass the exam because remember, my parents could not help me at all. I had to rely on myself to study, to memorize, to pass the exam so I can get qualified to go to the best university possible. I passed the exam. I got accepted to go to law school, the top 5 Chinese university called the Fudan University. They have my record there. They can easily find out who I am. And before I go, I said, I'm going to visit the sacred mountain, which is Emei Mountain in Sichuan. And it's very enchanted, Buddha's temples everywhere. Then you hear Buddha's chanting. And my friend had a guitar. I did not know how to play guitar. But I just saw that guitar sounded so peaceful and beautiful. So you can just mess with the strings, just listen to it, you know? And we still got the braids, right? You know, one woman is even the PLA, People's Liberation Army member. And so the guitar just reminds me something beautiful. Another story about music. Everything has to be PC. We were deprived freedom of art and the music. Classical music I heard when I was still in high school, but we could not even afford a radio. I had to go to my neighbor's apartment to say, please, can I not come here? Just 1 minute news break. There's 1 minute classic music. I get a chance to hear piano, violin. It was so beautiful. Instead of our revolutionary songs. Have you ever heard of Peking Opera? It's designed by Mao's wife, Jiang Qing. It's very sharp, noise, high-pitched singing, make you want to cover your ears. Think about every day is like that. I hated that. And so when I hear class music, I don't know what it is. Oh, my heart feels so good. Same thing with guitar. And our temples were reopened. I could go to Buddha's temple again to say, Buddha bless me. I was about to travel 3 days by hard seat train to go to Shanghai for college. First time to leave my home state, home province, Sichuan. So I never cried. My family were crying, say goodbye at the train station. But I was scared. I said, Buddha bless me, I'm going to leave home now. And I don't know who took this picture, actually. You still got the braids. I was very skinny. You can tell I was suffering from malnutrition. I still believe I could be 2 inches taller if I had good nutrition. That's my dream. Can I be taller, please? Yeah, but hey, you're, inadequate food and nutrition. And I was very skinny too. When I was little, people always kidding me. Look at your little tiny neck. Somebody could put hands on my neck, just choke me to death, break my neck. Oh, that's very scary to hear that, And when I go to college, here is a student registration form. This is a courtesy of my law school reunion, 2015. Last time I was in China. I got that as a souvenir. They have to through internal connections to get this as souvenir. Because it's inside of this huge personnel file department. All those names listed on the left is my immediate family and my extended families. From your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts. You know why Chinese cannot just rise up, risk everything for freedom? Because you put the entire family of yours into risk. They can all get locked up because you are anti-government dissident. It will take an incredible amount of courage to stand up against government. People only were desperate enough in order to do that. But if you have economic reform, you have a better life now than in the past, they were not starving, and people put up lots of stuff. Just keep their family together. And everybody was happy to say, oh, here's our souvenir. My heart was very heavy when I got this. Here they prove what happened to us, how they tracked us. That's my picture 17. A student file with big braids. And when China opened up, after Deng Xiaoping, and we had a foreign concept, foreign music, foreign experts, professors, and students come to our campus. So first time I even had the chance to, what is the Santa? To check out, what is Christmas about? Look at me down there with a big eyes opening, looking back at you. That's me. I did not get a random gift. But I always had a very warm feeling about Santa Claus. Because you see those girls still dress up like PLA soldiers, and then you have the Santa pass out gifts. A Chinese guy dressed up like Santa. Oh, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Oh, I thought that was so happy and cheerful. In our environment that time, that was just great. That's what I needed. We were so curious about the world outside China. Here's our student dormitory, bunk bed, 6 girls in 1 room. And the hallway had bathroom. I still did not have a radio, but hey, we could play deck of cards. And that's our only fun, besides going to library, classroom, and to study. And my exciting moment is this bonfire event on campus. When the Chinese men won a soccer game in Asian Games, we were so excited. We were patriots. We loved our country. So we went to celebrate our soccer victory. And that victory, because we're yelling, screaming, right? And nobody bothered us, even though, hey, when you give college students a chance to start fire, we will. Right, we burn fire. And they didn't do anything until we start to lock arms up, go out to say, freedom, democracy. We never heard our self-voices so loud, so clear. I did not know I can be very loud. Instead of, yes, teacher, yes, sir, yes, boss. Oh, I did not go back to my student dormitory until 2 a.m. My roommate almost called cops on me because we had a curfew, 10 o'clock in bed, lights off. So she thought I disappeared. I said, thank God you didn't call. Because I said, today is my most exciting day of my life. I protested. I was asking for freedom and democracy. My eyes were shining, my face was red, because I wanted to have a different kind of life. And that was great day in my life. I even don't know how I got that picture, don't remember. And China opened up, and we have color pictures now. It's called a Kodak film. I remember at some point, every street vendor was selling Kodak film. That's how they sell, distributed to the street vendors. And we started to practice disco. We were 20 years behind. 60s disco, Saturday Night Fever or something. I watched that movie later, I did not know. We were in our 80s. We were banned from having dancing parties, but pretty soon they could not ban anymore. China, 80s was best time of my life, called the cultural renaissance, like the Europe. So we're having Chinese rock and roll. We're discussing what is the country we want, what kind of freedom we want. We want reforms. We want representative government, be able to vote. And we want the choice, personal freedom to choose, including clothes, the hairstyle, who we want to date, what kind of dancing we want. So we're practiced with boombox inside our dormitory. Disco, 3 steps, 4 steps, jitterbug, everything, words, until we can have party legally every weekend. Every weekend is dancing party. So I went through my rebellious period because when I went to law school, I got lost again in the first 2 weeks. They told me, you want to study law for justice and equal protection? No, law is a tool used by the governing class to govern its masses, its people. You're not individuals, you're just the masses. You're part of the collective society. Sovereign union model. You are guilty until you are proved innocent. That's the sovereign union model. So I was so lost again. I started to go to dancing parties. Just listen to the foreign music, shake your body any way you say fit, it's feel great. I was young, remember? 17 to 21, I was in college. And that's my best friend. He's still stuck in China. I cannot even talk to him on WeChat because we'll be trapped. I don't know what he thinks about China now. Still brainwashed by the propaganda. Maybe think China is pretty good because they don't know the truth. And the foreigners come in, that's me now with long hair, we can lay hair down. As a freshman, we could not even wear blue jeans. By the time I was third year college student, we were pretty liberated. It was great, except we still have curfew. I was very rebellious. When they have curfew, I always break the curfew. One night, 19 years old, I was outside with 2 boys watching the stars, did not go back to campus. Somebody just come in, whack my butt. It was the police from campus. What are you doing, college students here? We're looking at stars. Well, you already violated the rule. This time I'm going to let you go back. Next time I'm going to report to your law school dean. You will get a disciplinary action, referral. Okay. God, I hated that moment. I hated him. He treated us like a kid. We're 19, college students, adults, in top 5 Chinese universities. But I had to say yes. I had to swallow my pride. You have to choose your battle, otherwise I wouldn't be here today. If I get sacrificed in China, right? Or get locked up, So one of these foreign students told me about America. He's not in this picture. American student who later, after we made a dancing party, said, I want to show something, Lily, from America. So I went to visit him in his dormitory. The foreigners' dormitories were guarded by Chinese old man ladies as guards. You need to register when you go visit them. Time in, time out. What are your major? What are your dormitory address? What can we talk about? Yep, I had to go register, go inside. And he told me, this is our founding document. He showed me a pocket constitution. What is that? I thought I was going to show art pieces or something. No, this is our founding document of America. Can I read to you? I said, sure. He said, we held this truth to be self-evident. It's like, what? All men are created equal. I don't understand. I was, my English was bad. He had to explain to me very slowly to say, you are created by God. Doesn't matter, you are Chinese, you're a woman, you have a different skin color, you have individual rights. It's like, ding, 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 ding. It's like something I never heard before, but I feel like something turned on in my head. And it's a brand new concept to me. I have individual rights given to me by my Creator. So I said, I'll come back. I think I went back one more time. He told me about separation of powers, citizens can vote, Second Amendment right, free speech, freedom of religion. It's like, this is a cool country. I want to go to this country someday. I mean, he really changed my life up to that point for me to understand. Instead, Europe, got kings and queens, and I don't care, because Chinese had 1,000 years of emperors. So I said, this is an awesome country, and I want to go to America someday. But I was still committed to change China, remember? Transform China to a rule-for society, not ruled by man, especially by a sociopath madman. Men make mistakes. They're not God. But they want to be, to make you to believe them. So I said, that's the country I really like to go. And that day come. I was first graduation class of law school. Out of 60 students, 5 got an offer to stay as faculty member in the same law school. I was one of them. Because they see me as good personality, right? I'm sociable. And I was practicing law part-time on campus and teach law. And my reality kicked in. My rebellious student life is over. Because you have to join the party, you have to be PC, you have to go to political studies every week. Every department in college today is supervised by 2 bosses. One your academic boss, one your Communist Party committee boss. To make sure you are PC, you are loyal. Otherwise, you cannot even get those kind of jobs. So I become faculty member, and they told me I need to stop going to dancing parties with my students. I needed to look more mature. I need to be, basically in line with the party. Remember, my light bulb turned on. I cannot turn off. I did not want to go to political meetings, kumbaya, doing that stuff again. But here's the problem. If I want to ever leave China, I need permission to quit my job, a permission to get my passport. I had to change my strategy. Okay, back to straight red again. Oh, yes, this long live, and good policy. I support it in order to butter my boss up, to get a permission to live. I was depressed as faculty member the first year. And I was like, here's a country called America. My friend left China for American University by applying to be a graduate student. So I learned some steps, some process, and found an American sponsor I met in China. He sponsored me. He was UT Austin professor. That's why I applied for UT Austin. And my English was not good enough, so I need lots of help. I need the money to apply, to take a TOEFL test, to buy air ticket. So my sponsor helped me with all that. So 1988, my first day in America, I was older than you guys. I was 2 months before my 24th birthday. Could not speak English, borrowed $100 from my Chinese friends, $10 here, $10 here. As a faculty member in law school, I don't make much money. I paid off my parents' debt. They were in debt all their life because they were poor. So I had to say, can I have $10 donation, or can you lend me $10? I'm going to get rich in America. I pay you back with interest. So I had a $5 $20 bill. And up to that moment, it's like a best day of my life. I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea how I'm going to pay for my bills. I don't care. In order to leave China, I had to sign a piece of paper, agreement, to promise go back to serve my motherland after my master's degree on my own time, on my own dime. Or two consequences. We'll kick you outside the party, out of the party. Fine, I don't care. They forced me to join anyway. But second one is tough. Second one, they're going to kick my personnel file back to Chengdu. That means I can never go back to Shanghai, which is top-tier international commerce city, to work and live there legally as legal resident with benefits. It's very hard to get into Shanghai even nowadays. You have to have a job, transfer your file might take 10 years, highly controlled. But then I signed it. I had to fight it. I said, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I don't know how, but I'm going to make it. Have a good life in America. Start from square one or negative. I was $1,200 in debt owed to my professor. So luckily, everything changed. I don't know. I'm just so blessed. I come to America the first night. I met my future husband, a Texas boy who never been to China. Single, just waiting for bride to show up. So whenever we fight, I say, you took advantage of me because you did not even pay for a bride. I actually delivered myself for free. I had to went through hell to come to be your wife. You were just waiting, you know. We've been married happily for 31 years now. we still argue and fight, and we got married. His mom was like kind of like a Methodist church. I remember my parents, my family all could not come. I married myself out in order to take my new husband to China, guaranteed me to come back. Otherwise, my family said, bring him back, we'll check him out. No, I will have my student visa status. What if I'm not allowed to come back? That was my top one worry. I'll be trapped in China again. No, it was like, so I had to tell my family about John, everything about his family and pictures, and they finally gave us blessing. I don't need their permission anyway, but Chinese culture, it's nice to ask your family's blessings. So they can tell neighbors, I'm married. They give some candies out, give some cigarettes out, that's Chinese way, and the sunflower says, she's married, congratulations. Until we went back, we had a big Chinese dinner, you know, officially. And this is a Chinese famous a dish called roasted beef in soy sauce with potatoes. Chairman Mao's famous saying, if someday everybody can have this dish, communism will be fully fulfilled. Instead, 40 million people are starving to death. He can have this dish every day because he's Chairman Mao, but we get a chance to eat beef maybe once a year for Chinese New Year. You have to save up whole year for it. And I can eat this every day if I want it. Try that dish, Hong Shao Niu Rou. That's pretty good. I have a Chinese friend here. She went through Cultural Revolution too, and she will tell you about it. And this is my mom and dad's apartment that I lived there until 17 and left for Shanghai, the top one. Now, two families share one toilet. It's not toilet, still have to squat. If you're sick, you cannot squat because it's very tiring. You have to hold your body weight, you know, have good muscle on your legs. But it's improvement. Two families share one bathroom. And no heating, have to go up, no elevators. And that was our starter home in Colorado. After my husband and I both graduated, get jobs, and we bought this house. We still own this house. And after we moved to New Hampshire, and that's our granddog. My son has this dog. So, which house would you like to live in? The community housing, 2 families share 1 bathroom, or even 8 families share 1 bathroom? Or this one, I make sure 4.5 beds. Everybody has toilet. That's number one on my priority when I buy a house, you know. American middle class dream, right? Kids, cars, house, and a dog. Part of American dream. And that's my family today. 2 sons and 1 daughter. Youngest is daughter. This is from a couple years ago. My first son actually, graduated from the Air Force Academy. And my husband just retired, so we moved to New Hampshire. I feel so blessed. I start from nothing. I'm even able to live in American dream. I have 2 home business today, so I even created my own job after I got laid off 2000. First 8 years, not profitable, ran on my husband, and now we have 2 home businesses, and my husband can retire earlier and move to New Hampshire with me. When you have financial freedom, create your own job, pay your taxes, then you even value your freedom more. I don't know what I will be doing in China today. I might be a human rights lawyer and get disappeared, you know. So I'm so blessed with a happy family. First time I voted is Europe 2000. I become citizen in 1995, and we went to Hong Kong 96 to 98. And when I first voted, I was so excited. First time ever. I was 36 years old. That's a right other country people would die for. But lots of people in this country don't vote. They give up. Either they think they're not relevant, or they don't care about their right, a precious right, come with American citizenship. I hope when you turn 18, and you will exercise rights seriously and do all your research and find out who